Coming up, I'm going to explore the nearby suburb, whose name will remain silent for now, and there's a reason for that. But stay tuned, particularly family and friends who've known me since the old days, because we're going to revisit my childhood. Well, I just stopped off here at this amp hole on Hume Highway, and it was a good price, I must say, and I got an extra 4 cents a litre off from Woolworths, etc. So that was pretty cool. But then I noticed something, and I know my brother Andrew will appreciate this, because just recently he was with me when we did a tour of Sydney, and we kept on seeing places that would remind us of home. That is my childhood days in Adelaide. And what I noticed, you've just come around the corner here, there's a little sign up, street sign here called Lion Street. You'll notice there, Croydon. It's the suburb of Croydon I'm in. I think I might have to investigate this further, this interesting suburb of Croydon. So let me hop in the car and take a bit of a look around. Now, if we're going to talk about the history of the suburb called Croydon, there is probably no better place to start than where I'm standing right now. Just a bit further down the highway from where I stopped for petrol, down the Hume Highway, we have the 1988 Explorers Park.
And just to get your bearings, let me show you on a map where we are. And to the very north boundary, there's Parramatta Road, Great Western Highway, and then running through towards the bottom there in the middle of the suburb, Liverpool Road and Hume Highway. Keep those in mind, we're going to come back to them later. We're at Explorers Park, which is at the far right hand side there.
Explorers Park commemorates the significance of the intersection of the Great Western Highway, Parramatta Road, and the Hume Highway, Liverpool Road, in this nation's history. So that's why we're here. Let's hear further about this historic location. It was the 1788 when they settled. It wasn't very long afterwards they actually found themselves short on food. So they went up the harbour and then up what ended up being Parramatta River. So you can see this on the map here. And they settled, they found some good farming land in Parramatta. So they settled in Parramatta. A narrow track to Parramatta was hacked through the bush in 1789 and in 1794 widened by convict labour working for chain gangs to make suitable horse-drawn carts and carriages. At the same time, Governor Phillip decided to grant some land to officers, soldiers and citizens. And so it was that this area was settled. So Croydon actually was a land grant just off Parramatta Road, which wasn't a road then, of course, it was just a track. In fact, it still, when he was given his land grant, it still was a track and hadn't even been widened yet. It was just a walking track, but he must have known something, because he bought the property here, and not long after, Parramatta Road went pretty much straight past him. So that was definitely a wise investment. Other pastoral areas were developed. For example, Liverpool was a pastoral area developed in the 1810s. Liverpool Road, probably a track at first given access to farms in the area, was built as a toll road in Liverpool in 1812 with a charge of 3 shillings and 6pence. But not until 1820 was a reliable service provided. And so the two main thoroughfares of Sydney were Parramatta Road and Liverpool Road, and the land grant was the wedge of land between there where Croydon and also Ashfield sit, right at the corner of Parramatta Road and the Hume Highway. Okay, so here we are, a little bit southwest of Explorer Park, still on Liverpool Road, aka Hume Highway, and you can see pretty nondescript sort of area. So you might be wondering what on earth I'm doing here. Well, one thing I do want to show you is this magnificent old building, number 52. Can't see much from here, but if I go around the side here, there we go. Fantastic old building. It's a nice building for sure, but what's so special about it? Nothing particularly special about the building itself, or indeed the magnificent fencing. What's particularly spectacular, if I take a few steps back, is this. What is that? It's a legitimate milestone from the original Liverpool Road. So you may see the modern day equivalent, the little green signs posted whenever you drive in the country. They tell you how many kilometres till the next stop. Well, this is the old equivalent. Liverpool 9 miles and Sydney 7 miles. It is amazing that something like that has survived this otherwise rather typical modern street that we see here. Definitely worth the stop, and also proves one other thing too. You have to look hard sometimes to find the interesting little tidbits. Okay, the railway opened in 1855, and that was when things really took off. We'll go and have a look at some of the railway stations in a moment, but the railway line from Sydney to Parramatta was opened in 1855.
And here they are on the current railway network map,
And Ashfield and Burwood
showing here.
were on the main line. Ashfield in 1860 was Market Gardens, and Burwood also similar. In 1871, the borough of Ashfield was established, and by 1900, lots and lots of subdivisions, because after all this was a railway station, so lots of subdivisions and property being developed. Now, Croydon actually got its railway station
Right between Burwood and Ashfield.
not long after, I think it was 1870s, something like that, so it was also, that's when it stopped being a country farming area and became a subdivision, and when those houses in 1890 started to be erected. Now, you probably can't see this, just getting close there. That's an early view of Croydon Shopping Centre, which we're going to have a look at maybe a bit later as well. And Ashfield Railway Station in about 1900. But we'll actually stop at the railway stations later on. And the high road to Parramatta in 1796. So there we go. We'll cover some of these areas and have a look at it. But just to summarise, Parramatta established really early on as a farming area. Liverpool established not long afterwards as a agricultural area, and the two roads to Sydney from both Parramatta and Liverpool meet here in Ashfield, and part of that slice was Croydon as well. And with the railway line, the subdivisions happened and became a popular place to stay and live and eat and drink and work as well, and that's part of the explosion that happened as part of Croydon. So there we have it. This is Croydon Station as it looks today. There's the sign, Croydon. Let's just pan around. So this is at one end of the platform. This is obviously an extension. There's the overpass, which is actually a road now. So that's passing over the station. And there it is. There's the station itself. Okay, so here is the platform cover of this platform. It's very unusual in Sydney. I haven't seen this style before, so I'm suspecting this might be from the 1890s expansion that they did. This particular platform shelter might be from the 1890s. The ones over there, much more traditional platform station. So maybe that's from the 30s, that one over there. But I thought I'd mention them. Yeah, so this very much reeks of the 1930s to some extent at least, and I especially am impressed with the ironwork in this one.
And this is one of the earliest photos I could find, apparently from around about the 1880s, when the station was first opened. And you'll notice, of course, the very unusual bridge with this arch construction. Now this is a more recent photo, but it's interesting because it shows the concrete pillars that were used in the 1900s. They were quite revolutionary back then, and unfortunately in the most recent renovations they were removed. But they're not forgotten because there's plaques in the place where the pillars once stood. Before the railway station went in 1872, this is probably the next major construction. This was in the 1860s, and it's called Shubra House, and nothing illustrates the growth of Croydon as a country estate as much as this does. Shubra House was actually built by this man. This is Anthony Hordern III, and he's got a very interesting story to tell, but that's a story for another video. All I want to say about Anthony Hordern III is that he inherited his fortune from his father's retail store, Anthony Hordern and Sons, which was at one stage the largest retailer in the world, and certainly took a large amount of space in the city centre, just on George Street, where World Square is now. And this is what his country estate looked like just after he passed away in 1886. And the reason it still looks like a country estate at this point is because this was just before the expansion of the Croydon Railway in 1892. Next we're going to have a look at the Strand, which is the shopping district of Croydon, and it's quite a fascinating little district because the whole street is heritage listed. Now here's the street of the Strand with the shops, and I did have some video for it as well as these photos, but unfortunately due to technical issues the video didn't come through, but here's a pretty clear idea of what the Strand is.
This is Croydon Post Office, and a very pretty little signal box or whatever it might be, very much decorated, and of course what would no doubt be assumed to be a historical clock, and no doubt I'll be able to read about it here. The 2000 rejuvenation of the Strand on September the 10th 2002. So I'll just show you the Strand as I read this out. We aim to ensure the prosperity of this unique shopping satellite for years to come by showcasing the Strand's exceptional heritage, promoting a vibrant shopping atmosphere. You can see on the, zoom in here, there's the Strand and the station. And scroll out, there's the surrounding properties at the time that were for sale. This was the subdivision on Saturday the 1st of May 1909, so just before the Strand was established. Lovely gardens, so they've kept it up pretty well. I mean, it was over 20 years ago that they rejuvenated the whole area. Lovely little area there to sit in. Might avail myself of that in a moment. I've been walking around a lot. And I just wanted to come down here because I noticed a very interesting building. So here's a bit of a parklands here. And then there is this building here. MR Community Hall, built in 1926. The street that's famous for its houses is Elizabeth Street in Croydon. This one built in 1888. It's not a house, it's actually a shop, but a magnificent structure it is too. And across the road This does take my mind back to my younger days. A mini supermarket, and still open, believe it or not. My recent videos, my country tours and so on, I'm noticing art all over the place. So here's an example of not silo art or water tower art, but just general urban art on the side of the walls. You know what? I feel like a drink. Maybe I'll go in and grab something. Let's see what it's like inside. Certainly got a old building smell to it, so the wooden floorboards and everything. Now, what am I going to have to drink? That'll do me. Nice coffee. Now, where do I go to pay? Over here. Cool. Can't believe I found a suburban little corner store. Well, there we have it. $5.20 for a Dare Iced coffee, 500ml. But you're not here to see what I brought. You're here to have a look at the buildings on Elizabeth Street. So here's some samples of some of the buildings, and very much in the 1930s style. But there is a particular building I came to have a look at. 92 Elizabeth Street was built in the boom of the 1880s. It's a fairly smallish dwelling, but it was built by an ex-mayor of the area. He built this, he built it as a duplex, and he lived in one and rented out the other. So that's not a modern idea. It's nearly 140 years old, that idea. So we'll keep walking up to number 92. Not too far. Very busy road, this one, considering it's not a main road, although it is famous for its architecture. I actually found it very hard to find the building because I'd seen a picture of it, and there was about 4 or 5 buildings that looked identical. For example, this building here, fantastic looking building. However, as you'll see in a minute, it's, oh, darn, it's number 93. Sorry, it's 93 I wanted. That is the building. There it is, number 93. Majestic Victorian building. And the one next to it's not bad either, number 91. So here's a shot of 93, and if I move just down a bit further, magnificent shot of 91. Here's some more lovely houses. This is the other main period of Croydon after the Elizabethan explosion, which is mostly farmland and community, agricultural community. There obviously was lots of subdividing, particularly in the 1930s, the heyday of the suburban lifestyle. And so this street does very much remind me of my own hometown, where I used to live as a kid. We used to live in a 1930s bungalow as well, and there's a lot of them along the street. Very pretty street, this one. I wonder what the name of the street is. I'll tell you what, let me show you. Hello, hello, hello. Thomas Street, that looks familiar. You know what? I've got a funny suspicion. Let's just find out. Alright, so walking down here, as I said, a very pretty little street. Very much reminding me of home. So we'll just go a little bit further. It's not immune to more modern buildings, especially flats. Just out of curiosity, we're currently at number 78. I think those who know me know exactly where I'm heading. I wonder what it looks like. Okay, I guess we should begin the countdown, shouldn't we? I wonder, which building is it? Okay, got 74A there. Got a little bit of time to go. I think we're going to have to cross this street here. Shouldn't be too far to go. As I said, some lovely properties along here. Very, very evocative of the 30s. All right. Okay, so we have places around here. We're now at 64. Although this is the even side of the road, so I should really be looking at the numbers on the opposite side. There we are, 49. You're going to wait for it. Okay, it's through the trees there. Can you feel it happening? Yep, just a few more seconds. Alright, this is a good point to turn around. And there it is, the grey building. Number 47. 47, Thomas Street, Croydon. Doesn't look anything like my place, old place that is. But that is it. And you can see the little number up the top there. Now I'm not going to knock and ask to come in because it isn't my home, but it certainly reminds me of it. And so there we are. Memories from childhood that I've never seen.
Have you ever found an address of a place you've been at or have memories of in some other city? If you have, place comments below. I hope you found that interesting. It's a bit of history of Croydon. And talking about history, the next video, I'm going to chase the history of Central Station. And we'll see some very fascinating facts about the original central terminus and the current one.